Okay, so today I want to welcome you to Stock Market Investing News. It's October 3rd, it's Thursday. Oh my God, we got one more day and I don't have to do these stinking video updates. Woohoo! I can, hang out for Saturday and Sunday and not do this. Sounds like fun to me. But look, let's talk about Warren Buffett's internal scorecard. A lot of people, they're like puzzled because he's a billionaire, but he drives, a reasonably priced car. And he lives, in a modest home in a relatively modest neighborhood. His home might be worth maybe 250 to 350 now. And the reason for that is because he learned a concept called the internal scorecard from his big mentor, Professor Graham. And so what happened is that Warren Buffett just does not show. He's not a show and blow kind of a guy. When you got a sales guy kind of a guy, they'll be in some sort of super fancy Maserati and they've got their really super hot wife, as arm candy. And that's what, Warren Buffett calls the external scorecard. So a lot of these guys in the stock market, they make a lot of money. And next thing you know, they've divorced their wife. Now their wife is some hot Latvian woman or some hot, Cuban woman, whatever, or some hot Brazilian woman, something like that. And then, now they're in a Maserati and a Ferrari and they're in a mansion and everything. And it's all about their toys and it's not about their relationships in life. And at the end of the day, these people usually end up pretty unfulfilled. I've noticed, big time, right? Whereas Warren Buffett, he's the opposite. He never had the hot wife. He never had the super sports car. He never lived in the plush, Miami South Beach mansion kind of a thing, right? He focuses on his internal scorecard. And Monish Pabrai, he talks about this a lot, about it's much more important to use money, not to show and blow, but to take care of the people you love and develop more loving relationships with your core family. The most important people in your life are your kids, number one, then your spouse, and then your parents. And a lot of people, they're making friendships and stuff and spending so much time on these, external friendships that are way away from their core friendships that they don't invest adequate time with the people that really love them the most and love them far more unconditionally than some buddy they met on a plane flight or some buddy they met at a conference or some buddy they met at their work, right? So I encourage you to follow the Warren Buffett strategy of staying focused on the internal rather than the external scorecard. Now, how are there some ways that you can apply this? Stop worrying about how fancy your house is. Number one, if you eventually have the money and you feel like, you want to upgrade to a house, do it. But don't do it because you want people to like it or think about it. Do it just because you like that particular house. Don't develop friendships that are known as give to get friendships. That's a big part of the internal scorecard. Just develop friendships completely sincerely because you like the person, not because of what you can get or what connections you've got. I've got a friend of mine, Dave Watkins, amazing CEO, and he asked me one time, he said, "Hey, what are connections worth?" And I said, "They're worthless, completely worthless. Connections are worthless. It's relationships and friendships that are valuable. Those are real, For instance, if Dave calls me and wants to help on something, I'm going to do it because we're friends, not because I want to get something out of him. Become fully self-sufficient in what you do. Do your job correctly, and they'll pay you. You don't have to be buddies or friends or anything. If you like the people that you're working with, then be friends with them. If you don't like them, then be cordial with them, right? There's no reason to develop lots of acrimonious relationships. That's another thing that can really drag on the careers of people, is just developing acrimonious relationships. And again, this is a big part of the internal scorecard. People don't need to know what you have or, what they don't need to know. It's just develop sincere friendships, sincere relationships, and you'll be well on the path of following Warren Buffett's advice of keeping only an internal scorecard and ignoring the externals. Today I'm going to talk about McEwen mining, and then we're going to go back and look at Roku, and we're going to look at Snap. All of these stocks have something interesting going on in them that I want you to know about. McEwen Mining is this stock here. It's trading at $1.59, which is dirt cheap. Dirty dude, it's done dirt cheap. And when we look at the weekly chart, we can see that it's a stock that reacted upward and is now pulling back. So, it kind of makes you wonder if it's going to do some kind of head and shoulder bottom pattern is what it looks like it's trying to form. You can see that on the weekly chart, you've got the bulls and the bears up arrow. By the way, I have two different platforms. I have the trading platform, and then I have this platform I use for charting. Probably will end up shifting more to the trading platform, but I've got a lot of positions over here I'm watching, and so I need to kind of gradually move it over there. If we look at the monthly chart, you can see this stock has been substantially higher before. It has a lot of volume coming under it right now. So again, it does have the signals and the signs that make it look like it is doing some kind of head and shoulders pattern. We'll just have to kind of wait and see and watch it. What's going on with Roku? Well, Roku is putting in what looks like a basing pattern. Now, don't have really the volume underneath it. And man, talk about volatility, because it went straight up and straight down. And I pulled a lot of profit out of it. And so I added another $10,000. Unfortunately, probably $25 up, I would guess, somewhere, or $30 or $35 up. I put on the first $10,000 layer at 175 strike. So these have a lot closer in strike. I think these have like 125 strike or something like that. If you're in the Facebook group, of course, you can go over there and see and what strike I actually did purchase, because as you know that I use the Facebook group as my literally internal scorecard, so I can go over there and see exactly what positions I took and what the details were when I put the order on. It's very, very helpful for me, this process. And it's an opportunity for you to see with transparency, of course, what I'm doing. What's going on with Sirius Satellite Radio? Sirius Satellite Radio, actually not Sirius. Was it Sirius or Snap? Ooh, not Snap. So Snap took a nosedive, and I have, I think, a $5,000 test purchase in Snap. Yes. And that had been eroded to $3,000. So I'm going to make a mark next to it. This one, I want to prune it. And actually, I was thinking of Sirius when I wrote down Snap, but I'm actually really glad that I noticed this. And I definitely want to cut Snap. Sirius has broken its downtrend, so I'm going to be looking at possibly picking up either calls or shares on that. It's trading at 638, so it's not too expensive. 100 shares will cost about $600, which is a pretty cheap option. All right, what is going on with Facebook? Facebook is performing well while Snap is cranking down, so that's actually a good thing to see. Although my Facebook position has just been literally slaughtered. The $11,943 position is at about $3,800. So again, I pulled a lot of profits out on the last wave of calls, and now I'm working this wave of calls. And 10,000 is not great. I mean, it is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. And so it is kind of like layer one and layer two, kind of getting beaten on pretty hard there on Facebook. But again, it did react upward today, which is not a bad thing. So with that, I'll let you go, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow, Friday.